What's going on, YouTube? Coming to you out of Detroit. Got some interesting things to discuss today. Interesting chain of events. You know, as you come in, like, share, subscribe to the video. I want to talk to y'all tonight about Candace Owens, Kanye West, what you've been seeing going on YouTube and in the industry and with media, because there's more to it than what you may be seeing on the surface. Because on many levels, content creators, influencers who have followers and subscribers, newsletters, this is media. What you're seeing is a change in the landscape of what media looks like. This is what media looks like in the metaverse. I'm gonna say this to you. You know, I have a core group of subscribers who understand exactly where I be coming from when we have our topics and chop it up. But I will say, if you're gonna be listening to this channel, don't always have an emotional response to what you see. Have a logical response to what you see. Think logically. Don't immediately get in your feelings and get triggered. Because when you get in your feelings and you get triggered, this is how you get manipulated. You really get manipulated because you take on these concepts and ideas that aren't even yours, and you don't even realize that you've been triggered. Now, we're going to play back all the rules and showing this because this is touchy. So, United States fair usage. This is for commentary, educational purpose, and comments. I do not own the copyrights to this. This is merely for dialogue and commentary and educational purposes. We're going to get into this video, and I want you to see exactly what Candace Owens say, and you see it for yourself. This is what Candace Owens is saying. Like her or love her, it's up to you. But she go hard.
Because Ye went and spoke about the documentary, he spoke openly, basically was giving a critique of the documentary, a positive one, a review, if you will, and he told the truth about the levels of fentanyl that were found in George Floyd's autopsy. He told the truth because he watched the documentary. He told the truth because he was at the premiere. And like many people who have seen the documentary, he is upset with how we were lied to, how Black America in particular was lied to. So because of this, Roxy Washington, that is the mother of George Floyd's daughter, so George Floyd's baby mama, she has retained the services of a law firm in preparation to file a $250 million lawsuit against Ye for the comments that he made about George Floyd's death. Wow, that is incredible. Imagine going on air and telling everybody about a documentary that you watched, a documentary that is completely factual, a documentary that had experts, a documentary that used excerpts from the trial itself, and you decide that your grift just must keep on grifting. Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna file a lawsuit against Ye. In case you didn't know this, guys, Ye has already given that family $2 million. Yes, because perhaps he even believed that it was a racist event, that Derek Chauvin did this because he hated Black men, and now some clarity has been provided, and he is trying to extend that clarity on a podcast to people who maybe have not seen the documentary yet. So let's first take a listen to Ye's actual statements that he made on Drink Champs.
I watched the George Floyd documentary that Candace Owens put up. One of the things that his two roommates said was, they want a tall guy like me. They want a tall guy like me. And the day when he died, he said a prayer for, 8 minutes. He said a prayer for 8 minutes. They hit him with the fentanyl. If you look, the guy's knee wasn't even on his neck like that. When he said mama, mama is his girlfriend. They said he screamed for his mama. Mama was his girlfriend. It's in the documentary.
So I would like to first again impress upon you that.
Okay, fair usage, fair usage. Offer some commentary on this. Now, Kanye has been on a tour, on a tour, so to speak, of unloading, getting things off his chest. Tucker Carlson, Pearson, Drink Champs, you name it. So the internet is on fire. Him and Candace Owens has literally broken the internet. They changed the whole algorithm. Now, I don't know if all of you know what algorithms are and why it's so important to understand what algorithms do. Algorithms create trends. Algorithms pretty much control everything that you see or hear or have privy to. So when you see people and they really not deal with YouTube, that's like somebody who says, I don't have Facebook because I still use MySpace, or I don't have digital music because I still got cassette tapes. YouTube is an open market of media, and this is what they're doing when they're trying to shut Kanye down. Now, nobody agrees with Kanye. We know how Kanye West has been over the last few years. But Kanye does have the right to say what he wants. See, you can't turn a blind eye when they're trying to censor one person, because then that opens the door for all of us to be censored. Another thing is, when you see how the states, and they were arguing for women's abortion rights, you took your eyes off the prize, and the federal government changed the whole thing as it relates to abortion rights. You keep getting distracted, you know what I mean? And a lot of people don't even want to hear the truth, you know what I mean? So if you're emotional, you can't think logical, this channel ain't gonna be for you. You're gonna hear something you don't like, and you're gonna unsubscribe anyway, because a lot of people, they don't like the truth. They run from the truth, or they want a truth that fits their narrative. So Candace Owens is doubling down with riding with Kanye. Interesting.
Ye has already given this family $2 million. What do they do with that $2 million and the other millions and millions of dollars that came flooding in for them? Nobody knows. I know what they didn't do for documentary shows. They didn't go to George Floyd's house and pick up the stuff. They allowed his car to rot in the driveway. They didn't go visit the roommates or the last place that he lived for the 5 years preceding his death. They didn't care about any of that. They did get in front of cameras and cry. They did get in front of cameras and talk about, oh, how much they loved him. The roommates, which is in a clip that we actually didn't air, told us that they had never even seen any of these family members. They'd never seen anybody that they saw on air talking about how much they loved him. It was the roommates that actually spent the most.
I'm going to stop on that note for a minute, because we know that to be true, how families are. I know families that you won't even be welcomed to their house. They don't call you or don't talk to you, but they definitely try to keep an insurance policy on you. They don't like you, they don't care about you or nothing, but they have found a way to convince you to sign some type of insurance policy so that if something happens to you, they get some money. And what she's saying is George Floyd was living with two roommates and living as a drug addict on the streets. Family didn't come visit him. Nobody cared until the cameras came and it was able to make some money. Now, you got to watch some more of this.
What is the real story of January 6th? Many people have asked that question. Some people have described what happened on that day as an insurrection. But is that really right? Our reporters at the Epoch Times spend the whole year investigating.
Time with him for the last 5 years.
They commercials like a documentary.
So it was interesting. It's a compelling story. How How honest are they being in their expression of their emotions, of how close they were and how much they loved George Floyd himself? I don't know. We left that up to interpretation after the documentary. But here's what we know and what we stand by. We stand by the truth regarding the levels of fentanyl that were in George Floyd's body. I'm going to give you a clip, an excerpt from the documentary itself. Take a listen.
They had to have the jury believe that it was a neck restraint, it was the knee on the neck, it was asphyxiation that killed George Floyd. However, there was a ton of evidence that George Floyd consumed a toxic, lethal cocktail of fentanyl and methamphetamine.
Did it appear that Mr. Floyd said, "I ate too many drugs"?
Yes, it did.
Let's put it in perspective. 3 grains of fentanyl on the head of a lead pencil, enough to kill you, enough to kill me. And so they had to continuously inculcate the public to believe that Derek Chauvin intentionally, premeditatedly murdered George Floyd, and drugs had absolutely nothing to do with it. As Lindsay and the toxicologist presented that awful testimony.
Do you recall describing the level of fentanyl as a fatal level of fentanyl?
I recall describing it in other circumstances. It would be a fatal level, yes, in other circumstances. Had Mr. Floyd been home alone in his locked residence with no evidence of trauma, and the only autopsy finding was that fentanyl level, then yes, I would certify his death as due to fentanyl toxicity.
I know I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Take a seat.
So our documentary also shows that George Floyd said, "I can't breathe," before he was ever put onto the ground. It also shows that he himself asked to be put on.
Now, I'm gonna stop right there. Now that footage, when they was protested and all that, you never seen that footage where he was saying he couldn't breathe before he was even on the ground. I think they did mention that because they were saying that he was claustrophobic and he was having a panic attack or something to that nature back then. But the thing that's being said is, as you continue to watch this, she's showing her perspective of how she sees things. Now, you know, people hate Candace Owens. You know, they always say they hate Candace Owens. You know what I mean? They hate Trump. You know, people, they hated Kevin Samuels. You know, that's that Willie Lynch syndrome where you hate anything that looks like you, and it's hard to forgive. You could, you know, you forgive 400 years of slavery, 400 years of oppression. You forgive your boss at work. Black people forgive everybody but each other, and they're real critical, and they will ignore facts, truth, and information if it doesn't fit what they're comfortable with. And ironically, Noriega, all the rest of them bowed down and tried to throw Kanye under the bus. Ironically, this person, Candace Owens, is doubling down and riding his back because she doesn't fear repercussions for what she's saying. Clearly, she don't fear for no repercussions.
On the ground. So essentially everything that we were sold, the greatest lie ever sold via the media, was a lie, right? We were led to believe that he was placed on the ground and unnecessarily restrained against his will. Why couldn't this have just been a peaceful arrest? Well, the answer to that is because he resisted arrest. He kept resisting arrest. They kept asking him what was wrong with him. He didn't mention to them that he was actually sitting in the car when they arrived with his drug dealer. We also go to show you that there was a chewed up pill that was found in the police cruiser that tested positive for Floyd's DNA, tested positive for fentanyl. So what do you think that George Floyd was doing with his drug dealer sitting in a car when he also dropped a chewed up fentanyl pill. What do you think that George Floyd was doing in that car? I'll leave it up to you. I don't know. If we're all going to pretend to be stupid, let's just leave it to the audience. What was he possibly doing? Just having a conversation with this drug dealer who refused to testify because he wanted to recuse himself because he had other pending charges that might implicate him? Think they were just hanging out, talking about the game? It is such an insult, a continued insult to the public's intelligence, that we have dropped an actual, factual documentary to reveal the truth. And in response to us telling the truth, they've decided to triple down on the lie. The media is behind this, without question. The media is behind trying to make people believe that there's anything actionable in this lawsuit.
Now, I'm going to stop it right here when she's saying the media. You know, Candace Owens, no matter what you say about her, it's a very smart woman. Very smart woman. Very savvy, very shrewd. And she a cutthroat. She go for the juggler. She's saying media. She's saying everything, basically, that Kanye was saying. But see, Kanye doesn't know how to communicate. But she's saying everything that Kanye actually said. And when Kanye talks about the media and who controls the media, when she's talking about the media, she's not talking about the news reporter himself. She's talking about the whole machine, who creates the narratives, who creates algorithms, who shapes public perception of things. You know what I mean? And black people, you got to realize you've never been in this much danger and this much trouble as we go into new elections. What does it look like for real in the black community when you cannot, and I'm not going to point out this particular area of the black community, when the Democrats find out that you cannot deliver the vote anymore, that when you say, this is who I support, the rest of the black community goes the other way. Because it's gotten that bad to where the division is along who will sell out for real. You know what I mean? You call Candace Owens a sellout because of her life decisions, but Noriega and Star and all the people that's coming out against Kanye because he said something about another ethnic group. But y'all don't get mad at the drill rappers when they rap about killing black people, rap about molesting black women, rap about spinning the block, drilling, killing, Moxie, Percocet, twerking, truffle butter, you name it. All the stuff that they say in this derogatory that surrounds black community and black culture. And you want to throw Kanye under the bus because he said something about an ethnic group that you know controls the media and controls everything that he was talking about. And ironically, they proved his point when Noriega, did you see how shook Noriega was? Noriega was so shook that he apologized for what another man said. That's how shook he was. When all he had to really say was, look, that's Kanye's opinion. That's your opinion. But he came out and apologized to the George Floyd family. Everybody was, towing the company line. And then here comes Candace Owens, like the cavalry, for Kanye, because they eating, because they broke the internet. They broke it. They changed the algorithm. And she's doubling down.
Against Ye. In fact, the lawsuit is such crap. I'm going to read you what it actually says. Ready? It says, this is a demand letter that is written to Kanye West. It says, Mr. West, we are contacting you regarding your recent statements in reference to George Floyd and his manner of death. Our office represents Mr. Floyd's minor child and her mother. As you can expect, our clients are very distressed and hurt by the allegations that you made. Mr. Floyd's cause of death is well settled through evidence presented in the courts of law during the criminal and civil trials that were the result of his untimely and horrific death. Okay, we presented evidence from the trial, the evidence from the trial that never made it to the mainstream media. So it's completely ridiculous that you're pretending that this documentary doesn't have two legs to stand on. What you're actually upset on is that you are understanding that you are losing control of the narrative. As you can't lose control of the narrative. Because as we also revealed, the $80 million that was raised on the back of the public believing that George Floyd was ruthlessly murdered by a police officer, and this lie was orchestrated by intentionally extracting meaningful portions of the trial. Yeah, none of that money actually went to help Black America itself, did not go to the inner city communities. They are completely rotten today, right?
She's only telling the truth.
The increase
She's
in
not showing nobody.
The increase in murder in the city of
Why
Minneapolis
people have such
itself.
an aversion to the truth?
So what they're doing is they are once again, and they are standing behind George Floyd's minor child to do this. They are once again trying to get ahead of the public demanding answers, right? Public should demand answers. A lot of money was stolen on the back of this lie. It is theft to take money, to report that you are doing it to further Black lives, and to do no such thing as what was done with Black Lives Matter. Now, the second portion of this, obviously, which they're upset about, is the fact that Kanye said that he wasn't even on his neck like that. All right, let's take another listen to my documentary.
From the perspective of Miss Frazier's camera.
Now, hold on. I'm going to stop 1 minute, and I'm going to get right back to that. When you look at Drink Champs, everybody got mad at Kanye because Kanye said, when you look at the real footage that didn't make it to the media, he wasn't even on his neck like that. That's what Kanye said casually, referring to the fact what he had seen from the footage that didn't make it to the media that was in the documentary. Now, you look at this yourself and you determine what it is that you're seeing, what it is that you're witnessing, what it is that you're hearing. You decide on your own.
It appears that Officer Chauvin's knee is on the neck of Mr. Floyd.
Yes.
Would you agree that from the perspective of Officer King's body camera, it appears that Officer Chauvin's knee was more on Mr. Floyd's shoulder blade?
Yes.
Yes, that is the chief of the Minneapolis Police Department saying that from the video he was watching as he is sitting in trial, he realizes that from the police body cam footage, it looks as though Derek Chauvin is actually kneeling on his back shoulder blade. And the footage from Darnella Frazier's cell phone showed from the front, not from the back. So that's important. Kanye told the truth. He told you what he saw in the documentary. He's essentially providing you a review. And yet, despite this demand letter went out and is asking that Ye refrain from publishing or causing to be published any other audio, video statement, any posts regarding George Floyd, his estate, his family, and the circumstances surrounding his death, including but not limited to his manner of death. So the demand is that Ye shuts up about the documentary. Shut up. We don't even care whether or not it's true. You need to shut up. You're not allowed to publish anything about this documentary. Well, guys, let me tell you something. Ye's not going to shut up. I spoke to him last night. He's not going to shut up. I'm not going to shut up. I'm certainly not going to shut up. This is the greatest lie ever sold. You're asking Black America to remain stupid. You're asking Black America to remain convinced that all we are victims of circumstances and that we play no role in those circumstances whatsoever. It takes 3 nanograms of fentanyl on the tip of a pencil to kill a human being, and George Floyd had 11 nanograms in his system at the time of death. And you want Black America to believe that it's just completely irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. It's not irrelevant. That's always what you're asking Black America to be, emotional and irrational. And I'm sick of it. I'm also sick of frivolous lawsuits. You know, if this is actually considered credible, if you can sue somebody because you're feeling emotionally distressed because of them going out and saying things, well, then I think that I have grounds to sue George Floyd's estate. I have grounds to sue George Floyd's family for doing this little PR stunt. It's causing me a ton of distress. I feel angry and I feel upset with the fact that I am fighting for Black America to be freed from the lies while these people are fighting to keep them in the dark. This is unacceptable. I'm serious. I'm going to go out and I'm going to ask lawyers, if this is legitimate, can I sue George Floyd's family? So Black Lives Matter released their 990 IRS filing. They collected 80 million.
Well, I'm gonna stop right there because the topic was, as you can see, Candace Owens doubled down. She doubled down riding with Kanye. And it appears to be, Ms. Yancey, you call Candace Owens a name. I see you done got emotionally and triggered sitting over here. You way in Detroit and got triggered. Anyway, Candace Owens, she doubling down. She's doubling down. Clearly, she's not scared. She's not being intimidated. I mean, you know, you could go through the internet. They call her all kind of names. You know, she one of the most hated black women in the country. But she's not scared while everybody else is abandoning. Scared of the industry. Come on, Ms. Yancey, catch up. You know the industry is ran by the Illuminati. Thank you. You know the industry is almost ruled. I mean, you know the industry is controlled and manipulated by the Illuminati. For real, and I'm not joking. I just don't want to say the other name. You know what I mean? No, she's not. And neither was Trump. You Ms. Yancey, y'all have so much confidence in the Democrats, and they tell you their name, Demon, Crossy. They name everything that God says do, they against. Well, you can say, bad, you done got emotional. Now you done got emotional. You got me all the way to a university. You see what I'm saying about black people? Here's a lady that worked at a college, got me all the way to a university, seen me graduate with honors, seen me become a scholar, and when I say something that gets her emotional, she checks out. You checking out. What kind of grades did I get? Ms. Yancey, you worked at a college. What kind of grades did I get? Put that in the chat. Come on. Put that in the chat. Because a lot of people may think I can't speak to these type of issues, these type of politics. I'm not siding with Kanye. I'm not siding with Candace Owens. What I'm showing you is that censorship in the people that's in control of things, they are trying to censor you. And once they take one right, they take another right. Just think, when you get a felony, they made it a law where they could take your right to bear arms and your right to vote. And they could put you back in slavery based on the 13th Amendment. And they just took abortion rights. Do you really don't see this as an attack on the First Amendment? Y'all taking it so emotional, you think it's all about you, but it's not about you. They just use these just the players in the game. You know, the world is a stage. These are just the players. They're going toward total censorship in the metaverse. They're creating all these platforms, all these apps. How many of y'all have been in Facebook jail? For nothing. You just say the wrong thing. And you're in Facebook jail, and they just send you a note and say, well, and give you a warning like you a kid, slap you in the hand. You said something that goes against our community guidelines. You can't say that word. You can't post or comment for 48 hours. That's a form of control. It's a mental trick. They don't care about the word you said. They care about being able to disconnect you from what you think is your reality, which is the internet. Do you know why you have an Apple Watch and your Apple Watch says, it's time to breathe right now? And you take a breath because the artificial intelligence in the technology is trying to control you. That is what it's designed to do. Ms. Yancey, you don't gotta like her. You don't even know her. My point is, do you think that Kanye has the right to say what he want to say, or that she got the right to say what she want to say, or I have the right to say what I want to say. You see what I'm saying? We get so triggered about this type of stuff, but where's all the smoke for the drill rappers? You know, Joe Biden called your kids super predators, said you lived in jungles, and he said that he didn't want another uppity nigga in the White House, and ain't nobody canceled him. Your president called you the N-word. Ain't nobody canceling him. Ain't nobody even mad at him. Y'all over that. Even though he done cut every benefit that you can have leading up to one of the coldest winters ever. And you just got finished one of the bloodiest summers in a generation, in generations in this country, all across this country. The black community went through a violent grinder, and now you're approaching winter. And then they keep telling you about all these jobs that pay $12, $14, $13. Can't even live off that. When a loaf of bread is $5 and a dozen eggs is $5. Come on. You mad about Kanye getting put out the bank? Sure, you shouldn't be mad about that. Kanye should stop going to their banks and open his own bank. He got 150 million. They didn't even have enough to cover that. But you know, Chase in Manhattan, you got to know the history of Chase Bank. You know, that's Rothschilds. Them Rothschild banks. J.P. Morgan. Yeah. Yeah, that's Rothschilds. Amsel Bauer. Chase Manhattan. Them, of course, they was gonna put them out of people that fund Metro Golden Mayer. Warner Brothers. You know, these people is powerful. You know, I don't know. Tomorrow, I think Kanye just want them to make Kim come back. You know what I mean? Because I think if Kim handlers tell her to go back to Kanye will stand back down and fall in line. He having a temper tantrum. Because all them people he talked about were the people that made him rich. So, it's deep. Look behind the scenes, and you tell me if you don't think that this is Frankenstein going against Dr. Frankenstein, the doctor that created the monster. Now the monster is attacking the doctor. This is what you're seeing. You're seeing media, television, the industry and entertainment created him and made him the richest black man in the history of this country with $9 billion. And now they cannot control him. So he's really toying with them. He had a temper tantrum. They shut his Instagram down. They shut his Twitter down to try to shut him up. So he just found somebody that he could go on their platform and talk. You see the bad game that he playing? They shut his vehicles and his platforms down. So he just say, hey, Nori, can I come over there and do an interview? Hell yeah. It's gonna go viral. Hey, Pearson, can I come over there? Hell yeah. Hey, Tucker, can I go over there? Kanye is showing them that they cannot do anything with him because he's richer than them. He told Piers Morgan that. Why should I listen to you? You ain't got no money. You should listen to me if you want to get richer. This is a case of Dr. Frankenstein's monster turning on him. But with black people, we so emotional, we get triggered. We don't realize is that for the last several months, they've been trying to censor everybody. They've been censoring YouTube, censoring Facebook, censoring Twitter, checking every comment, fact checkers. You know what I mean? That's not by accident. Do you think that that's by accident, really? All this censorship, and now they trying to cancel the richest black man in the history of this country because of something he said that offended some people. How does that make sense? He has $9 billion. And he went on somebody else's platform and spoke his mind, and you want to cancel. And see, think about what they call hate speech. I know some people, if you say the N-word or call them N-word, they consider that hate speech. It's women, if you call them a B, they consider that hate speech. You can't say the G word for the LG, you know what I mean? So, what is hate speech? Hate speech is they only use the term hate speech when it has something to do with involving black people or black men in this country. You can't cancel Kanye, period. Last year, a couple years ago, you wanted to cancel Ice Cube because you can't cancel these brothers. You know what I mean? You can only, all you can do is tune off and go find somebody else to listen to their commentary about what these movers and shakers are doing. Because I know a lot of you people, you have Facebook and you have Instagram, and you know how much you like Facebook and you like Instagram. Those are your apps. Those where your social media is. But YouTube is a beast. YouTube is a beast. Do you know there's people that do lives like I'm doing right now all night long and have people up all night long talking, calling in, exchanging money? In this metaverse, either you a creator or you a consumer. So it's all about what kind of content you consume and if you really understand and if you really plugged in. Because Candace Owens seems to be tough because she's threatened to sue George Floyd family. She called his girlfriend a baby mama. I mean, like, she taking the gloves off. You know, I had to make sure I said everything right and hope she don't come at me for, using her content. Fair usage, YouTube, fair usage. I gave her a shout out and I put her video in the community segment. So, hey. But all the guys, ain't nobody else even standing up for Kanye. They all speaking against him, except for her. I guess he got one friend, more than most of us got. Like and share like and share the video. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Peace out. Detroit, keep your head on the swivel. Pay attention, stay alert. Be vigilant.